and leaders from Namwala East Seventh-day Adventist, and as well as visitors from the Tobacco Control Consortium of Zambia in Lusaka District. And Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, did warmly welcome the visitors to the institution.
There was another announcement on the floor of the House. This is where Madam Speaker informed the House that Pilatus Engineering Company, and the official dealer for BYD and Mazda motor vehicles in Zambia, had been granted authority to display their vehicles within Parliament precincts from 29th to 30th April and 4th to 5th May 2026. She further informed the House that the company was affiliated with the Public Service Microfinance Company. In that regard, Madam Speaker then encouraged members of Parliament who are interested to visit the exhibition area and take advantage of the facility.
In the other announcement, Madam Speaker reminded the House that on Wednesday, 15th April 2026, the Office of the Clerk distributed the draft National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2026 to enable honorable members read and appreciate the proposed amendments and note their concerns on the proposed amendments. Madam Speaker informed the House that the Office of the Clerk had organized a validation meeting for members on the draft Standing Orders 2026, and that the meeting would be held on Thursday, 30th April 2026 in the Amphitheatre Parliament buildings starting at 09 hours. She further informed the House that the purpose of the meeting was to ensure that the Office of the Clerk received feedback from members on the draft National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2026, acquaint the honorable members with the salient provisions of the draft Standing Orders 2026, and provide an opportunity for members to clarify provisions of concern and validate this draft Standing Orders 2026. In that regard, Madam Speaker urged all honorable members to attend the important meeting.
Thereafter, the House considered questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 80, and also considered questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 83. These are grouped questions for oral answer. After that, the House then adopted a report, and this was in a motion that was moved by Federal Member of Parliament, Mr. Temba, that the House adopts the report of the Committee on Government Assurances for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Friday, 24th April 2026. And indeed, this report was adopted.
Yes, indeed. After consideration of that report, the House then did consider the closed circuit television public protection bill, National Assembly Bill number 1 over 2025. The bill was read a second time and committed to the committee of the whole House. And the committee stage is expected to be taken on Tuesday, 5th May 2026.
And thereafter, the House then did consider the Water Supply and Sanitation Services Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2026. It was read a second time and committed to the Committee of the whole House. And remember, when this bill came to the House, it was presented by the Minister of Water Development and Sanitation at about 18:27 hours. The House then adjourned. So today at 14:30 hours, we do expect Madam Speaker to take chair, and as per tradition, we'll just give you an outlook of the business that the House is expected to consider this afternoon, beginning at 14:30 hours. Joe?
Yes, indeed, Teddy. So we do expect announcements. If there will be any business statement for the period 4th to 12th May, and of course, motion to suspend the necessary standing orders by one of the Vice President, urgent matters without notice, if any, presentation of government bills, and of course a presentation of supplementary estimates. And we also have 3 ordinary questions and 2 bills that to be considered at committee stage.
Okay, so we'll look at the first business of the House that we expect the House to consider. That's the business statement. This is where the Vice President, who's the leader of government business in the House, does give a statement indicating the business that will be considered on the floor of the House for a particular period. And this period that is going to be given today is from 4th to 12th May 2026. After that, we do expect the Vice President, who's the leader of government business in the House, to move a motion. This motion is to suspend standing orders, that Standing Orders 24, 1 and 2, 27, 34 and 123 of the National Assembly Standing Orders 2024 be suspended to enable the House to sit from Monday 4th May to Tuesday 12th May 2026 from 09 hours until business is concluded on each day, and as well as to consider more than one stage of a bill at a single sitting until the House adjourns sine die. After that, we do expect urgent matters without notice, if there will be any.
Yes, indeed, and of course we also do expect the Minister of Finance and National Planning to present the supplementary estimates #1 of 2026, and of course a ministerial statement to be rendered by the Minister of Finance and National Planning on the preparation of the 9th National Development Plan.
Thereafter, we expect presentation of government bills, and this afternoon we expect a total of about 7 bills to be presented on the floor of the House, 2 by the Minister of Justice. We expect 1 by the Minister of Labour and Social Security. The Minister of Home Affairs is also going to present 1, and of course not forgetting the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, and indeed Honour the Vice President, who will present 2 bills. So we're going to get into the details of those bills that are going to be presented a little later, but we're just giving you an outlook of the business that the House is expected to consider. After presentation of those government bills, we do expect the House to consider questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 80, and the 2 questions will come from Lufanyama Member of Parliament. Joe?
Yes, indeed. So Mr. Siachisumu, Lufanyama Member of Parliament, to ask the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development when the construction of the low-cost housing units in Lufanyama district will be completed, and who the contractor of the project is. C, at what percentage of completion the project was as of March 2026. D, how much money had been paid for the contractor as of date. At C, what the cause of the delay in completing the project is.
Okay, and then the second question from Lufanyama Member of Parliament, Mr. Siachisumu, will be directed again at the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. In his question, he wants to find out from the Minister why the construction works of the Shimukanami Royal Palace in Lufanyama Parliamentary Constituency have stalled, who the contractor is. He also wants to know whether the government intends to engage a new contractor to complete the works. He also wants to know at what percentage of completion the project was as of March 2026, what the cost of the outstanding works is, and what the time frame for the completion of the project is. That is the question that is going to be posed by Lufanyama Member of Parliament. And then going on with giving you a summary of the business that the House is expected to consider, we do have indeed a motion that will be moved by Momba Member of Parliament, Mr. Chatila. He's moving a motion to adopt the report of the Planning and Budgeting Committee, that the House adopts the report of the Planning and Budgeting Committee on the budget performance review of the 2025 financial year for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 29th April 2026. Thereafter, Joe?
Yes, indeed. Thereafter, we do expect the House to consider 2 bills at committee stage. These are the Tobacco Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2026 at committee stage, and of course the Water Supply and Sanitation Services Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2026 at committee stage.
All right, so that in short is a summary of the business that the House is expected to consider this afternoon, 30th April 2026. So I hope that you'll be with us following deliberations as we bring them live to you from Parliament buildings. But also just to mention that if you'd like to, of course, get a copy of the order paper, which is basically an agenda of the business in the House, you can access it from our website, www.parliament.gov.zm. And just to mention that if you want to follow and watch Parliament TV, you can watch it on channel 272, that's on the GoTV platform. Parliament TV is also on channel 28, so GoTV platform, channel 5 on the Top Star platform. And of course, you can also follow on the National Assembly of Zambia Facebook page and the National Assembly of Zambia YouTube channel. But also to mention that our sister station is Parliament Radio, and you can also follow that. So as you can see on our screen, we have Madam Speaker's procession making its way to the chamber. That signifies the start of business. So once the House is called.
Honorable members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
Yeah. Sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our rights. We want freedom's fight, oh, one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, passion with and blessed by God's good land. Let us all our people join as one, brothers under the sun, oh, one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry, dignity and peace in Zambia's sky. Like a noble eagle in its flight, Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Green and we stand under the flag of our land, Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen.
Still watching Parliament TV, the station dedicated to bringing Parliament closer to you, and we do expect business to commence as soon as a quorum is constituted. And just to mention that earlier on we were talking about the bills that are expected to be presented on the floor of the House. Maybe this time around we can just give you the details of those bills. And it looks like quorum is almost being formed, so once the quorum is formed, we'll indeed stop giving this update. But in the meantime, we can look at the first bill, Joe, that we expect the House to consider.
Yes, indeed, Mutab, the Minister of Justice is expected to present the benefits of former Chief Justice, Bill National Assembly Bill number 667 of 2026. The bill seeks to provide for the retirement benefits for a former Chief Justice and matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing.
Yet another bill that the House is expected to consider and to be presented by the Minister of Labour and Social Security is the National Pension Scheme Bill, National Assembly Bill number 68 of 2026. So this bill seeks to continue the existence of the National Pension Scheme Authority and redefine its functions, reconstitute the board of the National Pension Scheme Authority and redefine its function, continue the existence of the membership, contributions and benefit structure under the National Pension Scheme and provide for its administration and management. It also seeks to provide for the establishment of sub-schemes, establish the National Pension Scheme Fund, and provide for its administration and management. This bill also seeks to provide for the registration of employers and members, provide for the payment of pensions contributions, provide for the payment of benefits, repeal and replace the National Pension Scheme Act 1996, and provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing.
Yes, indeed. So we also do expect the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security to present the Public Gathering Bill, National Assembly Bill number 71/2026. So this bill seeks to promote the protection over the freedom of assembly and association at a public gathering, regulate the conduct of a public gathering for the preservation of public order and public safety, repeal and replace the Public Order Act of 1955, and provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing.
Yet another bill that we expect the House to consider, it will be a bill to be presented by the Minister of Justice, and this is the Penal Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 74 of 2026. The bill seeks to revise the penalty relating to the offense of theft and theft of stock, and provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing.
Yes, indeed. So we also do expect the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development to present at the Local Government National Assembly Bill 75 of 2026. The bill seeks to amend the Local Government Act so as to extend the civic duties and the responsibilities of a councillor to a member of a council, and provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing.
Another bill that the House is expected to consider is a bill that will be presented by the Vice President, and this is the Public Holidays Amendment Bill. This bill seeks to amend the Public Holidays Act so as to remove the observance of a Monday as a public holiday on the day following a public holiday falling on a Sunday. This is the National Assembly Bill number 76 of 2026.
Honor the Vice President, who is also a leader of government business in the House, is also expected to present at the National Assembly Speaker's Retirement Benefits Bill, National Assembly Bill number 77 of 2026. The bill seeks to provide for the retirement benefits of a former Speaker of the National Assembly, repeal and replace the National Assembly Speaker's Retirement Benefits Act 1997, and provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing.
So those are the bills that we expect the government to present today, and in total they are 7. If you've just tuned into Parliament TV, thank you very much for choosing the station that is dedicated to bringing Parliament closer to you. And right now the bells are ringing because there is no quorum in the House. Once a quorum is constituted, business will indeed commence. But just to mention that if you'd like to follow the proceedings of Parliament today, feel free. There are many platforms that you can use to follow these deliberations. On GoTV, we are on channel 272. On DSTV, we are on channel 272. GoTV, channel 28. Top Star, channel 5. We're also on the National Assembly of Zambia Facebook page, not forgetting the National Assembly of Zambia YouTube channel. And also to mention that you can follow the deliberations through Parliament Radio just by clicking the Parliament Radio link when you go on our website, www.parliament.gov.zm. Click on the Parliament Radio link, which is found in the top right corner, and you'll be able to listen to the proceedings as we bring them to you live as they take place here at Parliament building. And of course, you can also, on the FM wave, there are many frequencies that you can follow Parliament Radio in. And in Lusaka, we are going to you on 92.
Honorable members with credentials, please, can you log in? Can you log in so that we start business?
Thank you. Still watching Parliament television, and this is the only station which is dedicated to bringing Parliament closer to you. Remember, according to the standard practice, there must be 1/3 of members in the House in order for business to transact, and as soon as the quorum is constituted, business of the House shall commence. And of course, we have a number of business to be considered on the floor of the House. Announcements, if there will be any business statement to be presented for the period 4th to 12th May 2026. And of course, we have a motion to suspend standing orders, urgent matters without notice, presentation of government bills, presentation of supplementary estimates, and of course, we do expect the House to consider 3 ordinary questions and 2 bills at committee stages.
We now have a quorum. Business statement, Her Honor the Vice President.
Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the House Business Committee met on Wednesday, 29th April 2026 to determine and schedule business of the House for the period 4th to 12th May 2026. Madam Speaker, the House Business Committee resolved to lay before the House the following business for consideration in the next 9 days. A. Announcements. The Honorable Speaker may make announcements if there will be any. B. Rulings. The Honorable Speaker will render rulings if there will be any. C. Ministerial statements. Ministerial statements on topical issues will be rendered if there will be any. D. Parliamentary committee reports. The following committee reports will be considered during the period: name of the committee, subject matter, and the date for consideration. Parastatal bodies, on a report of the Auditor General on accounts of parastatal bodies and other statutory bodies for the financial year ended 31st December 2024. This will be considered on 6th May 2026. Public Accounts Committee, report of the Auditor General, report of the Auditor General, accounts of the public for the financial year ended 31st December 2024. This will be considered on 7th May 2026. Parliamentary Reforms and Modernization Committee, on the formulation of strategic priorities to guide the development of a new National Assembly Strategic Plan 2027 to 2031, will be considered on 8th May 2026. Another committee is on local governance, housing, and chiefs affairs. This is on the report of the Auditor General on the audit of accounts of local authorities for the financial year ended 31st December 2024, will be considered on 11th May 2026. Local government accounts. This will be on the report of the Auditor General on the Constituents Development Fund for the financial year ended 31st December 2024, will be considered on 11th May 2026. In addition to these, 4 select committee reports will be considered. E. Bills. A total of 74 bills will be considered during the period. F. Supplementary budget. The House is expected to consider the supplementary estimates number 1 of 2026 once it is presented. G. Reports on international conferences. Reports on international conferences will be considered if there will be any. H. Reports on international agreements and treaties. Reports on international agreements or treaties will be considered if there will be any. I. Questions. Honorable ministers will be expected to respond to 13 questions for oral and written answer. The questions are contained in Appendix 1 of this statement, which will be circulated to all honorable members. J. Adoption of standing orders. The House is expected to consider and adopt the revised National Assembly Standing Orders 2026. K. Suspension of standing orders. On Thursday, 30th April 2026, which is today, I will move a motion to suspend relevant standing orders to ensure the House to enable the House to sit from 09 hours until all business on the order paper is concluded on each sitting day from 4th May up to not later than Tuesday, 12th May, 2026, inclusive of Saturday and Sunday. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, on behalf of the House Business Committee, and in accordance with Standing Order 44 of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, I have the pleasure to present the business for the next 9 days to this august House. I thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much. Motion, Her Honor, the Vice President.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that Standing Orders 24, 1 and 2, 27, 34, and 123 of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024 be suspended to enable the House to sit from Monday to Tuesday, 12th May 2026, from 09 hours until business is concluded on each day, as well as to consider more than one stage of a bill at a single sitting, and thereafter adjourn sine die.
The question is that Standing Orders 24-1 and 2, 27, 34, and 123 of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024 be suspended to enable the House to sit from Monday 4th to Tuesday 12th May 2026 from 09 hours until business is concluded on each day, as well as to consider more than one stage of a bill at a single sitting, until the House adjourns sine die. End debate. Her Honor, the Vice President.
Madam Speaker, Standing Order 24, 1 and 2 of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, provides for the days and times of sitting of the Assembly. The Standing Order provides that the Assembly shall commence sitting at 14:30 hours on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and at 09 hours on Friday. In accordance with this provision, the House does not sit on Saturday and Sunday, and does not sit on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. In light of this, Madam Speaker, it is necessary to suspend the Standing Order in order to enable the House to sit from Monday 4th to Tuesday 12th May 2026, inclusive of Saturday and Sunday, from 09 hours until business is concluded on the order paper on each day. Madam Speaker, Standing Order 27 provides for automatic adjournment of the House at 19 hours on Tuesday and Thursday, and 18 hours and 13 hours on Wednesday and Fridays, respectively. Further, Standing Order 34 provides that when Standing Order 27 is suspended, the House will not sit beyond 23 hours on each day. On each day, the suspension is in effect. In view of this provision, it is necessary to suspend Standing Order 34 so that the House can sit beyond 23 hours if need arises. Standing Order 123 prohibits the consideration of more than one stage of a bill at a single sitting. There is need, therefore, to suspend this Standing Order in order to enable the House to consider more than one stage of a bill at a single sitting. Madam Speaker, the suspension of the aforementioned standing orders will enable the House to consider all outstanding business before the House rises. The outstanding business includes 74 bills, 9 committee reports, 13 questions for oral answers, and the supplementary estimates number 1 of 2026. Madam Speaker, the volume of the outstanding business I have enumerated requires additional time to transact. In this regard, it has become necessary to suspend the aforementioned standing orders in order to enable the House to complete all the outstanding business on or before Tuesday, 12th May 2026, and thereafter adjourn sine die. Need has therefore arisen that the House should sit from Monday 4th to Tuesday 12th May 2026, inclusive of Saturday and Sunday. Madam Speaker, as we come to the end of this meeting, allow me to just give a brief review of how the meeting has panned out. This meeting commenced on Tuesday, 7th April 2026, and by the time of adjournment on Tuesday, 12th May 2026, the House would have sat for 22 days and would have considered about 66 questions and 6 private members' motions. In addition, 2 annual reports from government and quasi-government departments would have been tabled, 27 sessional committee reports, while 5 ministerial statements explaining and clarifying government policies on various issues would have been presented to the House, and 77 bills would have been passed. Madam Speaker, it is clear from the above statistics that although the House sat for a relatively short period, the volume of business transacted is huge. This can only be attributed to the commitment, dedication, and hard work of all honorable members of this august House. I, therefore, wish to commend all honorable members for the job well done. Madam Speaker, as the House prepares to adjourn sine die ahead of the forthcoming general elections, this motion also provides an opportunity to acknowledge the diligence and commitment demonstrated by honorable members throughout the tenure of the 13th National Assembly. Madam Speaker, I am delighted to acknowledge that honorable members have continued to discharge their legislative, representative, and oversight responsibilities with dedication and resolve. In this regard, I wish to commend all honorable members for their invaluable service to the nation and to wish them well as they return to their constituencies and prepare to engage the electorates. It is my sincere hope that the democratic process ahead will be peaceful, credible, and reflective of the will of the people of Zambia. To those members who intend to recontest their seats, or indeed any other seat, I wish them all the best. I wish you all the best. And to those who have decided not to recontest the 2026 elections, I also wish them well in their new endeavors. Because, Madam, definitely some will not come back. Finally, Madam, allow me to place on record my sincere gratitude to you, Honorable Madam Speaker, the Honorable Madam First Deputy Speaker, and the Honorable Mr. Second Deputy Speaker, for the efficient manner in which you presided over the business of the House during the entire 13th National Assembly. I further wish to commend the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly of Zambia for the services rendered to the House. In the same vein, let me acknowledge with gratitude the important role played by officers in the Office of the Vice President, Parliamentary Business Division, the parliamentary liaison officers in various ministries, and the entire public service for facilitating the work of the House effectively. To the staff, I want to state that their various support services enabled a smooth conduct of business of the House during the 13th National Assembly, which began in September 2021 and ends in May 2026. In the same vein, Madam Speaker, I would like to acknowledge and thank members of the public that have been following with keen interest the proceedings of the House through Parliament television and Parliament radio, and at times even giving feedback. I encourage the people of Mother Zambia and beyond to continue following the proceedings of this House. Madam Speaker, this is a procedural motion, and I therefore urge all honorable members to support it. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you very much. Indeed, it's a procedural motion. There is an indication, Honorable Member for Shiwangandu. You have the floor.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to weigh in on the motion ably moved by our Honor, the Vice President, to suspend 4 standing orders, being 24, 27, 34, and 123. Ordinarily, Madam Speaker, as you have guided, this is a procedural motion and which deserves to be supported. However, due to the volume of work that is going to be undertaken by this August House, I feel duty-bound to make a few comments. Madam Speaker, I acknowledge the proposal by our Honor, the Vice President, to suspend Standing Order 23. Madam Speaker, this Standing Order 23 is the one that prohibits bills to be considered through all the stages in one sitting. Now, Madam Speaker, this August House is run by a calendar. As we are heading towards the end of the 13th National Assembly, we have had only 2 sittings, understandably, being the legislative session, which ended in March, and we should have been considering your reports in this sitting. And therefore, government should have been prudent in making sure that some of the bills that are coming this time in the report sitting, report consideration sitting, should have been brought during the time which is dedicated for bills. It is permissible that we can consider bills even in the other sittings of the House. But the number of bills that we are going to consider should have been in that legislative session. Madam Speaker, 74 bills is unprecedented in the record of this House. And I want to put it on record that our responsibility to legislate for society is to make sure that the laws that we pass are laws that society will be able to accept. And therefore, we need time, enough time to scrutinize these bills to ensure that what happened yesterday where we were considering a bill that was sent back by His Excellency the President for considerations is reduced. Madam Speaker, there are serious bills that are coming. Considering these bills in one sitting will be a big challenge. Madam Speaker, I'm pressing it on the lead of government business. Even as much as we are pressed with time, we need to have time of 24 hours at least for us to have chance to propose amendments where we need to propose amendments. Sitting in one day and considering a bill from the second reading, third committee stage up to report stage would deny us an opportunity to push amendments where amendments will be due. And you know what happens when amendments are pushed, even either by the minister or by us members of parliament. The technocrats, your drafters at Ministry of Justice, will need time to look at those proposed amendments. So therefore, even as much as we have time constraints, we appeal that if a bill comes for a second reading, it shouldn't come in the same sitting, at least give it a day, so that we can have a chance to move proposals to the bill, because the period for us to move amendments has not been dealt with in your standing orders that you have suspended. Further, Madam Speaker, I want to appeal to this executive to take parliamentary work seriously. If we are going to achieve to finish this workload, Madam Speaker, you agree with me that now it has become order of the day. You sit there, it takes more than 10 minutes before we commence business. That's not how we transact business. So, and most of the time you see it's only their honor, the Vice President, sitting alone there. All the members of the executive, you don't know whether they are still packing to go. You still have enough time to pack. So, Madam Speaker, this is serious because we agonize seeing you seated there and waiting for the bells to be ringing. Of course, it appeals to both sides of the house. But more importantly, it's a responsibility of government. They are the ones who have brought these bills to make sure that quorum is constituted before time. When you are seated there, quorum must be already constituted. Now you see empty benches of those. I know those drawers you can pack even over the weekends. So, Madam Speaker, Our Honor, yes, I packed in advance. And it was like this. But I made sure. So as you don't know. Madam Speaker is engaging me, so I want to conclude first. So, Madam Speaker, even as I speak now, the officers amongst ourselves who have got the responsibility to help you ensure that quorum is constituted. There is order in the House to commence. There's none on both sides of the House. What kind of business are we dealing with? This is acts of, Madam, Your Honor, the Vice President, leader of government, this demonstrates lack of seriousness. Because your whips, who have got the duty to help the Madam Speaker there, to ensure that there is decorum, there is quorum at all times, are not here, permanently absent. What sort of leadership is that? So, Madam Speaker, we want to support our honor by suspending these standing orders. But I know if they are not demonstrating seriousness, it will be a tall order. Starting in the morning, going to the afternoon, will be a challenge for you, Madam Speaker. People cannot be escorting the president. The president has got a duty. So you can't have backbenchers running around to follow where the president is going. Parliamentary business takes precedence. Madam Speaker, this minister has got no order, this one. Go and pack.
Honorable members, this is how we squander time. We are just wasting time here.
Yeah, because, Madam Speaker, I'm supposed to be discussing nicely. What is the...
May we allow the honorable member to wind up, because his time...
In winding up, Madam Speaker, I wish our colleagues from the executive well, as they wind up the tour of duty. We have been there, you are there, and others will be there. That's how democracy should be. I'll be conducting a free orientation workshop for former ministers so that you know how to integrate in society. I also want to wish our honor the Vice President well, and we pray that you are still going to be a running mate so that we can meet on the ground as we deal with the promises that you gave the people. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Honor the Vice President, winding up debate.
Madam Speaker, as I had indicated, it's a procedural motion, but I will pick the encouragement from there that all of us must be ready to do the work. The work is not done until you complete it. So to members from both sides of the House, let us be here to conclude our work, Madam Speaker, honorably, so that when we go there, people will say, yes, we have been honorable members of the House. Otherwise, I want to thank you, the one that has debated, and all the honorable members for supporting this motion. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Order. I put the question. The question is that Standing Orders 24.1 and 2, or the Honorable Member for Mukush South, you are announcing that you are in the House. Soon you will disappear. So allow me to do my work. I put the question. The question is that Standing Orders 24.1 and 2, 27, 34, and 123 of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, be suspended to enable the House to sit from Monday 4th to Tuesday 12th May 2026 from 09 hours until business is concluded on each day, as well as to consider more than one stage of a bill at a single sitting until the House adjourns sine die. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Urgent matters without notice. The Honorable Member for Nkana.
Madam Speaker, the urgent matter without notice I wish to raise will be directed to our Honour the Vice President. Madam Speaker, when young people get to a point of destitution, they are bound to do what society do not want. Madam Speaker, it will interest you that today, young people in public universities survive through the little support they get from government through the Higher Education Loans Board. For them to rent facilities where they are staying, for them to have food. Without this support, Madam Speaker, our young people are now subjected to committing or engaging in very unwanted activities. Madam Speaker, I present and appeal to your indulgence. The young people at Mulungushi University have been crying for help from the Loans Board because their allowances, which ranges from accommodation refunds to meal allowances, some of them have not received their allowances as far back as last semester. The same is what is obtaining at the medical school for CBU in Ndola. Madam Speaker, this matter is very compelling because if we don't address it, it will cause unwanted, issues. Is our Honour the Vice President in order to allow these young people to be subjected to this, treatment when government is in a position to take care of their plight? I seek your indulgence, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Nkana. Clearly, the matter does not qualify to be raised as an urgent matter without notice. Therefore, it's not admitted. Presentation of supplementary estimates. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Madam Speaker, I beg to present the supplementary estimate of expenditure number 1 of 2026. Madam, in accordance with Article 203 of the Constitution, where the amount appropriated in an Appropriation Act is insufficient to meet expenditures in that financial year, the Minister responsible for finance is expected to lay before the National Assembly for approval supplementary estimates of expenditure. Madam Speaker, since this August House approved the 2026 national budget in December 2025, several developments have arisen which have significant fiscal implications. Some of these include policy changes regarding the purchase of increased grain quantities during the 2025 marketing season, a higher than planned public service wage increment following the conclusion of negotiations with public service unions, the war in the Middle East, which has led to government foregoing about $200 million in 3 months, thereby affecting several macro and fiscal parameters. In addition, Madam Speaker, there are minor fiscal implications relating to the effective implementation of the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Act number 13 of 2025, which I will highlight in my address. Madam Speaker, by virtue of the authority conveyed in the article of the Constitution quoted above, and some of the changes I have highlighted above, I now present the supplementary estimates number 1 of 2026, which stands at 26.3 billion kwacha, 26.3 billion kwacha. Therefore, allow me to bring out some of the notable proposed expenditure allocations contained in this supplementary budget. Madam Speaker, out of the recommended 26.3 billion kwacha, an amount of 7.4 billion kwacha, representing 28.3%, has been allocated to the Ministry of Agriculture. This allocation is intended to replenish resources that were earlier utilized to pay small-scale farmers who provided maize during the 2025 crop marketing season, as well as pay arrears to agro-dealers for inputs acquired from them under the Farmer Input Supply Program, FISIP, during the 2025-2026 farming season. This is to ensure that government meets its obligations in sustaining national strategic food reserves and supporting stability in the agricultural sector. Madam, 7.5 billion kwacha, representing 28.5% of the supplementary budget, has been proposed under Head 21, Loans and Investment. Of this amount, 2.9 billion kwacha is intended to meet additional wage increase obligations following the negotiations with the public service unions, which resulted into an agreed salary adjustment of 700 kwacha per employee per month. Additionally, 2.1 billion is earmarked for dismantling domestic arrears owed to various contractors and suppliers of goods and services provided to government institutions. This is also aimed at ensuring the reinjection of liquidity in the domestic economy. A further 390 million kwacha, equivalent to $15 million, is a disbursement expected from the African Development Bank to commence works on the Lobito Corridor project, while 610 million kwacha has been reserved for the contingency vote to cater for any unforeseen and unavoidable expenditures that may arise during the course of the year. Madam Speaker, 1.3 billion kwacha, representing 5% of the supplementary budget, is being allocated to the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services. Of this amount, 955.7 million kwacha is for the social cash transfer program, following an increase in the number of beneficiaries, and 350.9 million kwacha under the Food Security Pact to help clear arrears incurred during the accelerated implementation of the program in 2024, that is, in the year of the drought. Madam, 1.1 billion kwacha, representing 4.3% of the supplementary budget, has been allocated to the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ. This is expected to cover, among others, the shortfall on the initial budget requirement for the Commission in 2026, the additional costs resulting from increased number of polling stations from 12,152 to 16,400 countrywide, as well as the delimitation and additional election administration work emanating from the enacted Constitution of Zambia Amendment Act No. 13 of 2025, which increased constituencies from 156 to 226. Madam Speaker, a further 1.1 billion kwacha, representing 4.2% of the supplementary budget, has been allocated to the Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development. Of this amount, 153.6 million kwacha is to support the operations of the Minerals Regulation Commission, which has been established to strengthen regulation and oversight in the mining sector, while 936.9 million kwacha has been allocated to ensure continuation of the ongoing aerial geophysical survey to enhance mineral exploration, which will unlock Zambia's resources potential. Madam, 811.9 million kwacha, representing 3.1% of the supplementary budget, has been allocated under Head 99, Constitutional and Statutory Expenditure, to meet additional external debt service obligations. This is mainly driven by government's continued implementation of the external debt restructuring program, under which Zambia has already secured agreement on debt treatment covering 94% of the debt within the restructuring perimeter. The final stage of the restructuring process, Madam Speaker, is the conclusion of bilateral agreements with the respective creditors, which is now at over 60% completion. As these agreements are finalized, associated payment obligations have arisen in line with agreed terms. In this context, the additional provision is intended to ensure that government remains well positioned to meet these obligations while maintaining alignment with the overall fiscal and debt management objectives. Madam Speaker, these two 26.3 billion kwacha supplementary budget will be financed through a mix of additional resources expected in the year and some expenditure realignments within the 2026 budget. May I therefore indicate that out of this total amount, 2.1 billion kwacha will come from cooperating partners as additional project grants in the year, while 1.4 billion kwacha will be additional domestic revenues which were not initially planned in the 2026 budget. A further 2.4 billion kwacha represents carryover funds from 2025, which means that these are funds that were dispersed during the 2025 financial year, but since they remain unutilized in that year, they require Parliament to approve and regularize expenditures in 2026. In addition, Madam Speaker, 10 billion kwacha will be generated through various expenditure rationalization, in other words, compression, within the approved 2026 budget. Madam Speaker, may I also remind this House that 95 million US dollars was received earlier this year through the IMF ECF facility, which was initially expected to disperse in the fourth quarter of 2025. Further, as alluded to earlier, an amount of $15 million from a $252 million loan facility from the African Development Bank will disperse this year to support the multinational Lobito Corridor project, and a 7.5 billion kwacha will be sourced as additional domestic financing in 2026 through the domestic government securities market. Madam Speaker, I will provide more details regarding the proposed additional financing as I expound the details of the 2026 annual borrowing plan. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. The estimates stand referred to the Expanded Planning and Budgeting Committee for consideration. The committee is required to submit its report on the supplementary estimates to the House in due course. I have permitted the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning to present a ministerial statement. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Oh. You get confused. Madam Speaker, I thank you for this opportunity to present a ministerial policy statement on the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan 2022 to 2026 and the preparation of the 9th National Development Plan. This statement will highlight implementation of the 8th NDP, its performance, outline the challenges faced, and share lessons learned. I shall also provide a broad overview on the preparation of the 9th NDP. Madam Speaker, the 8th NDP is the first national development plan that was developed in the reign of the New Dawn government. You may recall that at the time of the development of the plan, the country was in economic distress, such as contraction of the economy, debt default, high inflation, a volatile kwacha, and low foreign exchange reserves, to mention but a few. The 8th NDP had to respond to these realities head-on by focusing on improving socio-economic livelihoods of the citizens. The 8th National Development Plan rests on 4 pillars, namely, 1, economic transformation and job creation, 2, human and social development, 3, environmental sustainability, and 4, good governance. The anchor pillar of the plan is economic transformation and job creation, which focuses on developing agriculture, mining, manufacturing, and tourism sectors. These focus sectors are supported by enablers like energy, transport, technology, infrastructure, skills, and water. Let me make some points on the performance of the HNDP. On the economic transformation and job creation, I want to report that the gross domestic product, GDP, was recorded at 6.2% in 2021, 5.2% in 2022, 5.4% in 2023, 3.8% in 2024 and 2025. Key sectors such as agriculture showed positive performance, with the country recording 3.8 million metric tons of maize production in 2024/2025 agricultural season, the highest production ever recorded in our country. In the mining sector, copper production increased to over 890,000 metric tons in 2025 from 700,000 metric tons in 2021, again, the highest. Further, we revived Kalengwa mine, which was closed for 47 years, and Luansha Shaft 28, which had been dormant for 24 years, and issued over 3,000 licenses to artisanal miners. Regarding the enablers of the 8th National Development Plan, allow me to highlight that in energy, we've realized investment in generation, such as the 94 megawatts Itimpi solar, which is being opened today, 100 megawatts Chisamba, already opened, 85 megawatts UCF, United Chemical Fertilizers, which is thermal, and a 300 megawatts Mamba Phase 2. Human and social development, Madam Speaker. Under the human and social development cluster, the government has scored some successes, such as the introduction of free education, the recruitment of over 36,000 teachers, and over 18,000 health workers. These interventions have resulted in increased enrollment and attendance of schools. The primary school level enrollment showed a modest improvement of 97% in 2024 from 95% in 2021, while school attendance rose from 83% in 2021 to 87% in 2024, reflecting the impact of the free education policy introduced in 2022. The secondary school yielded the highest grade 12 pass rates of 70.3% in 2025. In the health sector, the under 5 mortality fell from 64 per 1,000 in 2021 to 42 per 1,000 in 2024, and infant mortality from 42 to 29 per 1,000. On environmental sustainability, Madam Speaker, Zambia has made significant strides in green energy. We saw the completion and commissioning of the 750 megawatt Kafia Gorge Lower project, the 94 megawatt Itimpi solar power station, phase 1, and the 100 megawatt Chisamba solar project, phase 1. Alongside these, digital weather stations were deployed in 116 districts, strengthening our forecasting and improving local climate models. On climate change, Zambia adopted the National Green Growth Strategy for 2024 to 2030. The National Adaptation Plan of 2023 reaffirmed its commitment to the nationally determined contribution. To these efforts, government revised policies on environmental management, forests, and meteorology, and enacted the Green Economy and Climate Change Act of 2024. We also amended the Environmental Management Act of 2014, revised the Forest Act, and we have begun developing a new Meteorological Act. In response to the 2023-2024 drought, government rolled out interventions such as the Emergency Cash Transfer and the Cash for Work program, targeting our most vulnerable communities. Together, these actions reflect Zambia's commitment to sustainable growth, climate resilience, and protecting the well-being of our people. On good governance, Madam Speaker, we enacted the Public Debt Management Act, established a debt management office to enhance parliamentary oversight on government borrowing. Further, on the issue of debt, we have completed 94% of the external debt restructuring and have improved credibility of the country in the eyes of the international financial markets. Other reforms implemented since 2021 include the enactment of the Access to Information Act of 2023, decentralization of the High Court to all 10 provinces with resident judges, and to further widen access to legal representation for vulnerable groups, legal aid offices expanded to 36 from 14. In a quest to bring decision-making closer to the citizens, this government has demonstrated political will by increasing the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, from 1.6 million kwacha per constituency in 2021 to 40 million kwacha per constituency in 2026. Let me now make some remarks on the 9th Development Plan. Aligned with the Vision 2030, the 9th Plan will drive programs to achieve prosperous upper middle income status by 2030. As the final medium-term plan towards 2030, it will address structural challenges and build sustainable growth foundations. The 9th Plan will focus on inclusive growth, diversifying the economy, using Zambia's young population for development, reducing poverty and inequity, and protecting the environment, building a society driven by technology and promotion of a circular economy. It will foster societal cohesion with urgency, ambition, and collective action, leveraging political will, institutions, transparency, and regulations. It will continue to align with the Sustainable Development Goals, African Union Agenda 2063, and SADC Vision 2050, and other international commitments. The 9th Plan formulation involves 3 phases: conceptualization, which is identifying issues and situational analysis, which will also be undertaken in the first quarter of 2026. Then comes consultations, that is consensus building, white paper drafting validation, scheduled for the second and third quarter, and approvals and launch, which is expected to be done in the fourth quarter of 2026. Currently, we are undertaking the conceptualization phase that will define the roadmap, define technical groups, stakeholder mapping, and issues identification for inclusion. Madam Speaker, the consultative phase engages sub-regional, sub-national, and national stakeholders, communities, civil society, private sector, academia, traditional leaders, parliamentarians, via bottom-up approach to set priorities. Developing the 9th plan is a national responsibility involving wide consultations with government, civil society, faith groups, private sector, academia, traditional leaders, and others. After the validation and the consensus is obtained, the plan will be presented for parliamentary approval in 2026, followed by launch and dissemination. In closing, I request that this House support for the 9th plan formulation in your constituencies. Together, we can transform Zambia's livelihoods towards upper middle income status by 2030, fulfilling our commitment in unity, peace, and patriotism for a prosperous, resilient, and inclusive Zambia. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning. The Honorable Member for Shiwangando.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And let me start by acknowledging the pronouncements the Minister has made as he was presenting his ministerial statement regarding the development of the 9th National Development Plan, on which the next budget will be anchored. Honorable Minister, without stretching you, we shall be looking at the reports on the performance of the budget for the same fiscal year you were referring to. And it clearly shows that disbursements towards the budgeted lines in most cases has been between 35% to 60% in terms of budget performance, according to the report that is before us. My just simple question is the issue raised as you were making comments about the increased amount of constituency development fund. The past fiscal years, 2023, 2024, and I think 2025, most of the councils have not received full disbursements of the constituency development fund. And therefore, most of the projects that were undertaken by the local authorities have remained incomplete, or the councils are owing their contractors who were contracted to do a lot of works. I would like to find out from you, now that we are concluding the 13th session, are you going to release some funds to local government to enable the local authorities deal with the arrears that they have accrued on the contracted projects and in these past 3 fiscal years? Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. If I understand the Honorable Member for Shiwanganda correctly, is saying there were years from 2021 when CDF was not fully released, resulting in some projects having arrears. The question is that money going to be released? To provide the answer, let me start by saying that 2022, CDF was released in full. 2023, it was released in full. 2024, it was not released in full. because obviously in the midst of that drought, some money had to be diverted to deal with the drought. I'm happy, though, that in 2025, CDF was released in full, 2025. If you have not received the money, check with the Ministry of Local Government, but as far as the Treasury is concerned, every single penny of CDF in 2025 was released. It didn't go to the constituency. Okay, now 2026, obviously we are where we are, but we still think that the money will be released in full. For the money that was not released in 2024, I'm afraid that money must be taken as no longer available because it was diverted to other uses. So what you have to do, like what we are all doing, is what we did not complete in 2024. When we were budgeting for 2025, the first thing that we did was, what is it that we didn't complete in 2024? We budgeted for that and provided money for that. So if there were two items that were not done, what you need to do is you budget for 2027. Those of us who will be coming back, take into account what would not have, those who not have, the projects that were not here. If you don't come back, you just tell your successor that this is what you do, and wish the successor good luck. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much. There are no other questions, so we make progress. Presentation of government bills. The Honorable Minister of Acting Minister of Justice.
Madam Speaker, I beg to present a bill titled The Benefits of Former Chief Justice, Bill number 67 of 2026. The objects of this bill are to A, provide for the retirement benefits of a former Chief Justice, and B, matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing.
Let the bill be read the first time.
The Benefits of Former Chief Justice Bill, National Assembly Bill number 67 of 2026.
The bill stands referred to the Committee on Legislation and International Agreements. The committee is required to submit its report on the bill to the House in due course. Honorable members who wish to make submissions on the bill are free to do so within the program of work of the committee. Next bill, the Honorable Acting Minister of Labour and Social Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to present a bill titled the National Pension Scheme Bill, National Assembly Bill number 68 of 2026. And the objects of this bill, Madam Speaker, are to, in A, continue the existence of the National Pension Scheme Authority and redefine its functions. B, reconstitute the board of the National Pension Scheme Authority and redefine its functions. C, continue the existence of the membership, contributions, and benefits structure under the National Pension Scheme and provide for its administration and management. D, provide for the establishment of sub-schemes. E, establish the National Pension Scheme Fund and provide for its administration and management. F, provide for the registration of employers and members. G, provide for the payment of pensions contributions. H, provide for the payment of benefits. I, repeal and replace the National Pension Scheme Act 1996, and in J, provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing.
Thank you. Let the bill be read the first time.
The National Pension Scheme Bill, National Assembly Bill number 68 of 2026.
The bill stands referred to the Committee on Media, Information and Communication Technologies. The committee is required to submit its report on the bill to the House in due course. Honorable members who wish to make submissions on the bill are free to do so within the program of work of the committee. Next bill, the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Madam Speaker, I beg to present a bill titled the Public Gatherings Bill, National Assembly Bill number 71 of 2026. The objects of this bill are: A, promote the protection of the freedom of assembly and association at a public gathering. B, regulate the conduct of a public gathering for the preservation of public order and public safety. C, repeal and replace the Public Order Act number of 1955. And D, provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing.
Thank you. Let the bill be read the first time.
The Public Gathering Bill, National Assembly Bill number 71 of 2026.
The bill stands referred to the Committee on Legal Affairs, Human Rights and Governance. The committee is required to submit its report on the bill to the House in due course. Honorable members who wish to make submissions on the bill are free to do so within the program of work of the committee. Next bill, the Honorable Acting Minister of Justice.
Madam Speaker, I beg to present a bill titled the Penal Code Amendment Bill number 74 of 2026. The objects of this bill are to: A, revise the penalty relating to the offense of stock theft, and B, provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing.
Thank you. Let the bill be read the first time.
The Penal Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 74 of 2026.
The bill stands referred to the Committee on Legal Affairs, Human Rights and Governance. The committee is required to submit its report on the bill to the House in due course. Honorable members who wish to make submissions on the bill are free to do so within the program of work of the committee. Next bill, the Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to present a bill titled the Local Government Amendment Bill number 75 of 2026. The objects of this bill are to: A, extend the civic duties and responsibilities of a councillor to a member of a council, and B, provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let the bill be read the first time.
The Local Government Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 75 of 2026.
The bill stands referred to the Committee on Local Governance, Housing and Chiefs Affairs. The committee is required to submit its report on the bill to the House in due course. Honorable members who wish to make submissions on the bill are free to do so within the program of work of the committee. Next bill, Her Honor the Vice President.
Madam Speaker, I beg to present a bill titled the Public Holidays Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 76 of 2026. The object of this bill is to amend the Public Holidays Act so as to remove the observance of a Monday as a public holiday on the day following a public holiday falling on a Sunday.
Thank you. Let the bill be read the first time.
The Public Holidays Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 76 of 2026.
The bill stands referred to the Committee on Local Governance, Housing and Chiefs Affairs. The committee is required to submit its report on the bill to the House in due course. Honorable members who wish to make submissions on the bill are free to do so within the program of work of the committee. Next bill, Her Honor the Vice President.
Madam Speaker, I beg to present a bill titled the National Assembly Speaker's Retirement Benefits Bill, National Assembly Bill number 77 of 2026. The objects of this bill are to A, provide for the retirement benefits of a former Speaker of the National Assembly, B, repeal and replace the National Assembly Speaker's Retirement Benefits Act of 1997, and C, provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing.
Thank you. Let the bill be read the first time.
The National Assembly Speaker's Retirement Benefits Bill, National Assembly Bill number 77 of 2026.
The bill stands referred to the Committee on Legislation and International Agreements. The committee is required to submit its report on the bill to the House in due course. Honorable members who wish to make submissions on the bill are free to do so within the program of work of the committee. Questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80. The Honorable Member for Lufanyama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 338 question.
The Honorable Minister acting, the Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Member for Rufanyama, Honorable Siachifusumo, is asking the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development. The following questions. A, when the construction of the 20 low-cost housing units in Rufanyama district will be completed. B, who the contractor for the project is. C, at what percentage of completion the project was as of March 2026. D, how much money has been paid to the contractor as at the date of C. E, what the cause of the delay in completing the project is. F, what the cost of the outstanding works is. We answer as follows. The construction of the low-cost housing units in Rufanyama district is expected to be completed in the fourth quarter of 2026, of course, subject to the availability of funds. B, the contractor for the project is Dove Enterprises Limited. C, as at March 2026, the percentage of completion of the project was 85%. D, as at March 2026, a total of 10,833,239.93 ngwe, VAT inclusive, has been paid to the contractor. E, the cause of the delay in completing the project is attributed to funding constraints, coupled with the escalation of prices of building materials due to the fluctuation of local currency against major foreign currencies at the time. F, the estimated cost of the outstanding works is 8 million kwacha. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions, the Honorable Member for Rufwanyama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the people of Rufwanyama, Honorable Minister, my question is, are you going to maintain the same contractor who has failed to complete the work from 2014 up to date, or you give us a new contractor, Honorable Minister? I know these houses were started long time ago. It could not be the problem of maybe your ministry. Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
I thank the Honorable Member for Fanyama. This project was awarded to Dove Enterprises Limited with works commencing on 11th February 2015. And it was supposed to be a 12-month contract. And it was scheduled for completion on 11th February 2016. However, due to challenges there at the time, the completion date was revised to 30th June 2022 and has further been revised as of now to fourth quarter 2026. That means by December 2026. The Honorable Member is right. This is a 2015 project from our predecessors. The reason we have given for non-completion, it has not been attributed to the contractor. It has been attributed to unavailability of funds and price escalations. So as a result of that, it's difficult to punish the contractor. I think what we need to do is work with this particular contractor and finish the works. In fact, a lot of work has been done, as the Honorable Member is aware. Out of the 20 houses, I think I'm informed that 10 of those are occupied by the civil servants. But for the outstanding works to completion, the remaining 10 houses, we need external water and the sewerage reticulation, borehole drilling, and the water storage facilities, external electrical reticulation, stormwater drains, and gravel roads. As I said, 10 substantially complete houses have been occupied by civil servants owing to critical shortage of residential accommodation in that particular area. So I urge the Honourable Member, just bear with us. We have given ourselves a new completion time for end of this year, and that will be done. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Rufwanyama.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for the good answers and the promise which you have given us as people of Rufwanyama. Our Honorable Minister, those houses, we consider them to be very, very important because most of the people stay in Karurushi, some in Kitwe, because we don't have enough houses. Now, my question, Honorable Minister, after you have given us some promises, which we did appreciate, what is the cause of the delay in completing the house with the houses by the contractor? Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Madam Speaker, let me read again what I attributed the cause of. That was answer to question E. The cause of the delay in completing the project is attributed to funding constraints coupled with the escalation of prices of building materials due to fluctuation of local currency against major foreign currencies at the time. So from this, we can note that there has not been a reason attributed to the contractor. That is why I'm saying we are continuing with the same contractor. All we shall do is make sure that we provide the funding for the works to be complete. After all, it's 85% complete, but of course with these fluctuations, what we require now is 8 million kwacha, and we shall make that available. Next time you ask a question like this, I'll ask you to surrender CDF, complete the works, but who will do it? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Next question, the Honorable Member for Lufwanyama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question 339.
The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Honorable Member of Parliament for Lufwanyama, Honorable Siaji Sumo, asks the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development why the construction works for this Simukunami Royal Palace in Lufwanyama Parliamentary Constituency have stalled. B, who the contractor is. C, whether the government intends to engage a new contractor to complete the works. D, at what percentage of completion the project was as of March 2026. E, what the cost of outstanding works is, and what the time frame for the completion of the project is. In response, Madam Speaker, in response to the question raised by the Honorable Member of Parliament for Lufwanyama, the construction of Shimukunami Royal Palace initially stalled due to lack of funds in 2021. Then later, the funds were secured and a new contract was signed on 23rd May 2025. However, the new contractor failed to execute the contract and the contract was terminated on 29th December 2025. The contractor was Bebrin Investment Limited. The government has commenced the process of procuring a new contractor. The percentage of completion of the palace main house was at 60%. The cost of the outstanding works was 1,412,000 kwacha. However, this will move upwards as the scope has been increased to include 2 retainers' houses and a meeting room. The project will have 6 months construction period from the date of signing of the contract. Madam Speaker, I have some additional information to help my colleague. The project commenced in the previous regime before 2021 and stalled due to lack of funds. The project scope was the main house and did not have the support structures, that is a meeting room and 2 retainers' houses, like the scope of the palace is being constructed currently. On 23rd of May 2025, the Minister signed a contract with Bebrin Investment Limited to complete the works on the main house at a contract sum of 1.4 million, 12,000 kwacha. Then Bebrin Investment Limited was paid an advance of 353,000 kwacha, 16 ngwe, in September 2025, but could not mobilize on site even after several warnings letters. On 29th of December 2025, the Minister terminated the contract. The Minister made a claim of the advance bonds from the insurance company to recover the advance payment. The insurance company is yet to pay back the Ministry. Follow-ups are being made to ensure recovery of the funds. The Minister has commenced the procurement process of the new works so that the palace is completed. The new scope will include completion of the main house plus construction of a meeting room and 2 chief retainers' houses. Madam Speaker, thank you so much.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Lufwanyama.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, Local Government, thank you for your answers which you have given us, and the promise that the Chief's Palace will be completed, and also for the additional information which is not there for the retainers' houses and also the boardroom. Honorable Minister, my simple question is, what measures is going to be put in place to protect that palace? Because the branding is being eaten by the termites, and also some goats even, invading the house. Some window panes have been broken when I went to see it. Since, you have got the office in Ndola, what would be the advice to your office in Ndola so that that house is protected to avoid the damages to the house? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much, and I'd like to thank my dear colleague for a follow-up question. Madam Speaker, the blame goes to the Lufanyama Council. We are not going to talk of the provincial administration. Lufanyama Council should take ownership of that property. Those are government resources, and honorable member, that chiefs fall under my ministry. So when such a thing happens, the closest office to make sure that there is protection to vandalism or even termites destroying the roof structure, the council should be there to make sure that at least remedial measures are taken. But however, I've taken note, we shall be engaging the council to take immediate measure to save the situation. Otherwise, the blame goes to Rufanyama Council for that negligence. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Motion, the Honorable Member for Momba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that this House do adopt the report of the Planning and Budgeting Committee on the review of the budget performance for the 2025 financial year for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly. That was laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 29th April 2026.
Is the motion seconded?
It is seconded, Madam Speaker.
Seconded by the Honorable Member for Kafula-Futa. The question is that this House adopts the report of the Planning and Budgeting Committee on the budget performance review of the 2025 financial year for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 29th April 2026. Any debate? The Honorable Member for Momba.
Thank you once again, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the committee undertook a comprehensive review of the 2025 national budget against the backdrop of both domestic and global challenges, including climate-related shocks and global economic uncertainty. Madam Speaker, the committee appreciates the progress made in addressing the backlog of the value-added tax refunds. The committee notes that monthly allocations towards clearing the backlog have increased from 1.7 billion to 2.5 billion in 2025. However, it is concerned that the stock of outstanding VAT refunds claims has remained significantly high. The committee, therefore, Madam Speaker, strongly urges the government to take a more proactive role by making dedicated budgetary provisions to progressively dismantle the backlog of the legacy VAT refunds. This will enhance liquidity within the private sector and also restore credibility in the VAT refund system. Madam Speaker, the committee observes that while overall domestic revenue exceeds targets, this favorable performance was largely driven by mining-related taxes. The committee further observes that domestic VAT significantly underperformed by approximately 69.4%, largely due to poor compliance and operational challenges. In this regard, Madam Speaker, the committee recommends that the Ministry of Finance and National Planning, in collaboration with the Zambia Revenue Authority, should come up with measures that will strengthen VAT administration. Madam Speaker, the committee is concerned about the persistent underperformance in capital expenditure, with spending on non-financial assets falling below the target by 20.7% in 2025. The committee notes that this underperformance was mainly because of low disbursements for infrastructure projects such as roads, fuel depots, strategic food reserves, and foreign financed capital investments. Therefore, Madam Speaker, the committee recommends that the government should prioritize the allocation to capital expenditure and address implementation challenges in infrastructure projects to ensure timely compliance and maximize economic refunds. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, the committee wishes to thank you for the opportunity which you accorded to it to undertake this review. The committee also is grateful to the Office of the Clerk for their support rendered throughout its deliberations. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you very much. Does the seconder wish to speak now or later?
Now, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Kafula-Futa.
Madam Speaker, I rise to second the motion that has been ably moved by the chairperson of the committee. In doing so, I would like to draw your attention to issues that were not covered in the chairperson's remarks. Madam Speaker, committee observes that investment in geological mapping, attraction of investment, and the formalization of artisanal and small-scale mining is essential in unlocking full potential of the mining sector. However, it is concerned that the geological mapping program has delayed, thereby limiting the availability of comprehensive geological data necessary to support investment decisions and sector development. In view of the foregoing, the committee recommends that the government should expedite the implementation of the geological mapping program. Further, the government should strengthen measures aimed at formalization, artisanal, and small-scale mining through enhanced licensing, capacity building, and monitoring. Madam Speaker, the committee observes that agricultural financing mechanisms have not been fully effective, with farmers having limited access and experiencing delays in disbursements by financial institutions. Further, most farmers have been experiencing challenges in repaying loans and end up defaulting. Therefore, the committee recommends that the government should strengthen the oversight of financing agreements between financial institutions and farmers to ensure timely disbursement of funds and improved compliance with contractual obligations. Further, the committee argues that the government urges that government to integrate agriculture insurance schemes into key risk mitigation measures to safeguard both farmers and lenders against production and market-related uncertainties. Madam Speaker, despite the good strides made by the government in maintaining fiscal discipline and mobilizing domestic revenue, delays in disbursement of funds, particularly to social sectors such as health, education, and social protection, and for capital projects, continue to undermine budget credibility and service delivery. Therefore, the committee recommends that the government should disburse funds on time. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, allow me to join the mover of the motion in urging this House to adopt the report of the committee. I also wish to thank you, Madam Speaker, for affording us the opportunity to serve on this important committee. Madam Speaker, I will be failing in my duty if I don't thank the members of the committee for affording me the opportunity to second this motion. Madam Speaker, I beg to second.
Thank you very much. Any further debate? The Honorable Member for Shwangandu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to make a few comments on the motion ably presented by the chairperson of the Planning and Budgeting Committee on the budget performance review for the 2025 financial year. Indeed, Madam Speaker, it's very important that the committee reviewed the performance of the budget. And bearing in mind that the minister was just this afternoon presenting supplementary estimates that are to be considered just in this first quarter of the year, we need to make reflections on the performance of the budget. Madam Speaker, what has caught my attention is the matter raised by the committee on page 9, where the committee was informed that under the energy sector, out of the 2.7 billion approved budget for the 2025 financial fiscal year, the Ministry of Energy was funded only 969 million kwacha. Madam Speaker, representing only 35% of the total budget. And further, out of the 967 million funded, expenditure stood at 957 million kwacha, of course representing 99% of this insignificant figure that was released. And to this effect, the committee learned that there was a loan component meant for electricity project amounting to 1.3 billion, which was directly funded to the respective implementing agencies. Now, Madam Speaker, if you look at this budget performance and you look at the challenges that we went through, that the nation was subjected to under this sector, you then live to wonder where government puts priorities. Madam Speaker, your small businesses have gone down. Your Zambian citizens were subjected to serious challenges and suffering during the long spell of load shedding. And yet the ministry, which was supposed to be available to cushion the challenges the Zambian people went through, was funded. We approved the budget here, and the money couldn't be dispersed to this ministry. Honorable Minister, where are our priorities? Because really, if we have to deal with these challenges that our people are facing, we must put money where money is needed. So we implore the Honorable Minister, Madam Speaker, even as he is presenting his 9th development plan, to take these matters into consideration. The other thing, Madam Speaker, there was the underperformance of the capital expenditure in terms of projects. Here again, it's the same. Projects contracted, money is not disbursed. Yes, there could have been unforeseen eventualities, but it's important that we start planning for these issues. Madam Speaker, another worry, Madam Speaker, is low compliance in terms of tax. Your committee observes that tax compliance remains low at 49%, with disproportionate contribution from small number of large taxpayers. This highlights the challenge posed by large informal sector and weak compliance among small and medium. Madam Speaker, it is also highlighted that the projected targets for the revenue, for the Zambia Revenue Authority could not be realized. And this deficit was largely driven by the mining-related taxes. Madam Speaker, we have always said before that these investors that are coming to exploit our natural capital must be made to pay what is due. Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar. If they are mining and making their money, why wouldn't they make sure that they contribute to the revenue basket for you, Honorable Minister, in order to meet the expenditure challenges? Here, the figures are speaking for themselves. The mining sector, compliance. And what you have seen, Madam Speaker, this is reflected in the FIC report. This is where the challenge is. Those the high figures you see coming out of the FIC report of money that is going out is as a result of lack of compliance. People with impunity, because they are investors, they are treated with kid gloves. They can do whatever they want, and they don't want to pay their dues. This is the report. What are you questioning? Read the report. Don't just sit a question. This is where it matters most. No, Madam Speaker, these are matters of serious interest. As members of Parliament, representatives of the people, must take keen interest in these issues.
Order. Honorable Member for Shwangan, just concentrate on the report. Don't mind what the other members. I believe to say question is a common practice. You always say question, or some people even say other things. So just concentrate on the report. You are doing well so far.
Madam Speaker, I appreciate, but they should question and debate these matters, not just sitting. The report is here. We all should be concerned citizens. Madam Speaker, the other matter is debt contraction by the Food Reserve Agency. Madam Speaker, again, we budget year in, year out for Food Reserve Agency. And we know that every year, farmers are expected to have produce. Farmers are expected to be paid for the produce. And most of these farmers are funded by government under FISIP. How else, Madam Speaker, should it be a challenge for FRA not to have well-structured financing modules for them to buy maize from the farmers? Our farmers did suffer, Madam Speaker, in the last farming season. For the produce they did last year, they were only being paid this year, Madam Speaker. How else do you expect these farmers to be productive? It comes back to the way we are planning and running these institutions. By now, FRA should know that the marketing season will be opening. And government must know how FRA is going to mobilize money to go and mop out the produce from the farmers. That's how you guarantee food security, Madam Speaker. It can't be abracadabra. How can the government operating in abracadabra when the people have produced? That's when they start running to syndicate the financing institutions to give fund money to FRA. And they find that there is no security guarantees for them to use in order for them to secure those funds. This is pante. And if the minister is questioning, so in conclusion, Madam Speaker,
your time is up. Your time.
Madam Speaker, this report must be taken seriously by the Minister of Finance, and I want to commend the committee for continuously doing a commendable job.
Thank you.
Even the minister from Kaputa knows how his farmers suffered due to this challenge. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The problem is you like you to fight with the people who are listening to you. So just, so let's make progress. The Honorable Member from Pika.
Madam Speaker, I'm very grateful to you for this opportunity. given to me to add the voice of the people of Mpika to this very important report of the budget performance review of the 2025 financial year. Madam Speaker, on page 9, your report, Madam Speaker, under the Minister of Agriculture says, the committee was informed that in 2025, the approved budget for the Minister of Agriculture was 13.5 billion compared to 12.57 billion approved in 2024. In addition, the Ministry received a supplementary budget of 5.9 billion, bringing the authorized budget to 19.5 billion. In 2025, Madam Speaker, a total of 11.8 billion was released by the Treasury to the Minister of Agriculture, representing a 60% release against the authorized budget in 2025. Madam Speaker, this is the same year where we had farmers that supplied maize to FRA having serious challenges getting their payments. And here, Madam Speaker, we had approved the budget. The reasons as to why the government did not pay the farmers that supplied maize to FRA on time were that they overprocured the maize. They procured more than they had budgeted for. How could that be the case, Madam Speaker? A government that works with statistics, a government that works with available data, how could that be the case? The government should have just told the farmers that we did not have the money to pay, like it is highlighted in this report. Madam Speaker, we've spoken about the tax holidays that have been given to mining companies. But here, the government has always justified that particular action. Madam Speaker, in 2025, the same 2025, the government issued statutory instrument number 47 of 2025, which removed export taxes on copper concentrates. And that was supposed to run for 3 months. Up to today, Madam Speaker, that is still in effect, whereby we do not even have money to fund CDF projects. Madam Speaker, as I'm debating this report, projects that were procured in 2024 under CDF have not been paid for, to the tune of 12 million kwacha per constituency. Madam Speaker, this is as a result of the government not having enough resources. But there we go. We're having statutory instruments that are removing certain taxes on copper, which is our economic lifeline. And on the other hand, you have mines that have tax holidays, Madam Speaker, yet the ordinary citizens are being taxed, Madam Speaker, even when just transacting on mobile phones. Farmers, Madam Speaker, have to spend months and weeks at the banks waiting for their money. Madam Speaker, this report highlights the serious challenges that the government is having in terms of resource mobilization. Then you actually ask, why are they having these challenges when they can actually venture into mining? For instance, in Mpika, Madam Speaker, where we have plenty of gold, even beneath my house, Madam Speaker, there is gold. There, Madam Speaker, the government can simply formalize something that ZNS can venture into and start making money on behalf of the government. The Zamgold, for instance, the company that by now should have been making a lot of money. You have ordinary citizens, Madam Speaker, there, digging gold just using hoes and picks. They are making money. You check the kind of roads we have, Madam Speaker, dilapidated. And when you ask, when is the government going to do those roads, they will tell you, we do not have money. Then why are you giving mining companies tax holidays? Why are you removing certain taxes from minerals such as copper? Then you have a company, a private company, transferring $2.5 billion US to Panama illegally, and that company goes scot-free. The directors who were arrested for that same transaction have been released, and shares in that particular company, government shares in that particular company, converted. Madam Speaker, even this report, some of these challenges, Madam Speaker, you actually wonder to say, I'm sure these kind of challenges, Madam Speaker, it's just lack of leadership. Because with leadership, Madam Speaker, you can't fail to mine the same gold that ordinary Zambians are mining using oils and picks in Impika. And even when they are mining that, they are running away from poverty, they go and mine gold. The police are there like what happened in Impika the day after, before
Honorable
yesterday.
Member from Pika, we are debating the report. The mining of gold using hose and picks. On which page are you referring? We all move to your house now. So just concentrate on the report, Honorable Member, so that we make progress.
Well guided, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the challenges that this report has highlighted could be addressed by harnessing our resources. Madam Speaker, the biggest problem we have, Madam Speaker, is giving our economy into the hands of foreigners. And when they make those profits, Madam Speaker, from these resources, they externalize the profits. Madam Speaker, the people that were running, for instance, Mopani copper mine in the past, in Switzerland, where they came from, a town where they came from was built from resources from Mopani copper mines. Yet Mufurira itself, Madam Speaker, was in the dilapidated state. Question. Yes, question, because we don't even know how Mopani copper mine was given. It was given away, Madam Speaker. Not even a coin was taken to the treasury from that transaction. Madam Speaker, the more reason why we are the people that should question that transaction, not you, the people that transacted.
Honorable Member from Pika, order. Please be factual. We are debating the report. As you debate, concentrate on the report. Those issues that you are bringing, they are not verifiable, they are not factual. So avoid bringing matters that you cannot verify, which are not factual. You may continue with your debate.
Madam Speaker, these challenges highlighted in the report could be addressed if there is prudent use of our resources. Madam Speaker, poverty could also be fought with the prudent use of our resources. Madam Speaker, everywhere you go, there are resources, minerals, wildlife, timber, a good rainfall in the northern region. These issues that we're having here, Madam Speaker, with proper leadership could be addressed. Madam Speaker, there are countries such as Rwanda that do not even have resources, minerals. They only have baboons. But when you go to Rwanda today, it looks like a country that is in Europe.
Honorable Member from Pika, you are talking about a foreign country, and you are saying what you are saying. I think that is not proper. Just speak positive about other countries. We are diplomatic relations with them. May you wind up, Honorable Member.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. With proper leadership, Madam Speaker, our resources could be enhanced. Could be harnessed and put into a national development. The issues of giving tax holidays to the mining companies, we on a promissory note that they will increase copper production or whatever production, Madam Speaker, must come to an end. And the government should start having stakes in these mining companies to ensure that the resources that they realize are ventured into national development, such as construction of township roads in Impika and the completion of Michael Chirufya-Sata Hospital. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you. There is an indication for a point of order from the Honorable Minister of Health. What's the point of order?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Our standing order is number 71. Honorable Member is just alluding to the fact that, or insinuating that Rwanda has got no mineral resources. Madam Speaker, Rwanda's natural resources are primarily driven by mining, specifically tantalum, tin, tungsten, along with fertile agricultural land, significant hydropower potential, and methane gas, just among others. Is he in order to mislead himself and the nation, and the people of Rwanda for that matter, that Rwanda has got no mineral resources? I seek your ruling, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. I had guided the Honorable Member from Pika. Honorable Member for Shiwangandu, next time when you have a committee like this, please appear before the committee to make your presentations there. Make submissions. Honorable Member from Pika, appear before the committee to make your submissions so that they can be contained in the report, than to start making allegations which are not substantial. So the Honorable Member from Pika was definitely out of order. Yes. He was out of order by referring to another country in the manner that he did. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning to respond.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. To start with,
Honorable Member from Pika, please, can you wait? No, you just debated. Our rules do not allow. Do not allow. You have to listen to the response.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Let me start by thanking the committee for the report that they've presented, highlighting the good things and also the positive things that have happened in financial management since 2021. Madam Speaker, I want to say that in spite of the difficulties that they are highlighting in the report, I want to say that it's important that we balance things out, because even though there have been some difficulties, there have also been many positive things about financial management since 2021. Especially when you consider the fact that the colleagues who were debating were members of the previous administration. So I think we are entitled to make a comparison between those who criticize what has happened in 2021 and what their own record was during that time. So I get shocked when I'm told, that
Honorable Member for Shiwangandu, please, can you take your seat? Can we allow the Honorable Minister to respond? You had raised my issues. Oh, no. May you take your seat, Honorable Member for Shiwangandu. May you take your seat? Honorable Member for Shiwangandu, please take your seat. May we allow the Honorable Minister to continue?
So, Madam Speaker, what you see that from that time to what has happened since 2021, there's been a lot of efficiency in financial management in spite of the problems. For example, Madam Speaker, before 2021, we had millions of young children scattered all over the country who the previous financial administrators did not bother about. They didn't think that it was a problem. They didn't think that it was a problem to have millions and millions of children out of school. But this government, in spite of the weaknesses that the committee is mentioning, in this government, these millions of children have gone back to school. This, Madam Speaker, is efficiency. Madam Speaker, in 2019, there was a serious drought in this country, and there was hunger in the country. Each time we raise the issue of hunger out there in the rural areas, colleagues who are in government here would merely be laughing and say, you voted wrongly. When the drought came back to 2024,
Order, Honorable Member for Shwangandu. Order. We all have our own roles. You are there as a backbencher to debate and listen. I'm here to preside and give guidance. Your role is not to guide and show that you know it all. I think that is not fair. No, please. Now you are overstretching yourself, Honorable Member for Shwangandu.
No, you shouldn't have said that.
Why do you want to fight everyone? We have done 4 years, 5 years now. It's only 1 more week. If you continue at that rate, you end up with high blood pressure. So take it easy, cool down. As the time is 16:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a health break.
So business has been suspended for a 20-minute health break. We do expect business to continue at 17 hours. And at the time our business was being suspended, the Honourable Minister of Finance and National Planning was on the floor of the House contributing to debate on a motion that has been moved by a Momba Member of Parliament, Mr. Fred Jatila. And notable amongst the members of Parliament that have contributed to debate of this particular motion included Pika, Central Member of Parliament, Shwangandu Member of Parliament, and indeed the Minister of Finance and National Planning is contributing to debate on this particular motion.
Yes, indeed, Mukta. So we also do expect the House to consider 2 bills at committee stage. These are the Tobacco Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 over 2025 to be considered at committee stage, as well as the Water Supply and Sanitation Services Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 over 2026 to be considered at committee stage as well.
Okay, and just to mention that so much has taken place on the floor of the House from the time business commenced at 14:30 hours, and we'll give you more detail of what happened before right about now when the House has taken this break. For now, we'll take a short break.
Just like Saka and Odegaard need to work together for the perfect play.
Rising to the occasion again.
Your subscription is also at its best when paired with DSTV Stream.
This is not a coincidence.
With DSTV Stream, you can watch live TV or catch-up box sets anywhere, anytime, on any smart device. And that's just the start of its amazing features.
Are you sure? I think this is legit.
So whenever you want to enjoy DSTV, don't forget your free companion app, DSTV Stream.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect to DSTV Compact and GoTV Super Plus today and get the best football